Hey, Smelly Dale. Do you know what a nerdy 30 is?
I think so, Cheryl. Nerdy 30, a rare and highly contagious condition where an individual's love of obscure comic book series, vintage computer hardware, and 80s pop culture becomes so intense that their body begins to involuntarily shift into a state of perpetual nerdiness. Symptoms include irrepressible urges to recite entire scripts from Tron or The Princess Bride, spontaneous combustion of nearby calculators or gaming consoles, uncontrollable bursts of trivia about the entirety of Star Trek: The Next Generation. Treatment options are limited, but experts recommend embracing the nerdy 30 and allowing it to run its course, as attempts to suppress it may result in catastrophic nerd-induced side effects.
No, you fart brain. A Nerdy 30 is an episode of the Nerd School podcast, where many of the Nerd School team are super busy, doing other stuff like work or vacations or breakdancing at a club. So two of them get together for 30 minutes to talk about nerd shiznit. It's usually current event type nerd shit, brah. It's dope AF.
Ooh, that sounds cool. My nipples are hard. I could cut glass with these nips. I can't wait for the next Nerdy 30 from Nerd School podcast to drop.
Well, you're in luck, shit for brains, because it's about to drop right now.
Shit for brains?
This is a podcast from the Queen City Podcast Network.
Artstar is a Sith, and he has very sexy thigh meat.
TBJ is a badass.
Joe is a real man.
Professor Andy likes donuts.
Let's do a public service announcement for the fans.
Okay.
This is a Nerdy 30 with the Rock and Roll Express of Nerdom. Joe and Art. Unfortunately, TBJ out there becoming a superstar that he is,
Yep.
and Ando being a cool guy that he is, aren't with us. So you get to get these guys.
Yep. These
These
nuts. You got these nuts. That's who we are.
Oh, man. But I figure, there's a lot we can talk about, just rambling and shoot some shit,
Yeah.
Joe wants to talk about Spidey Man.
Yeah, I want to
Like,
talk
real
about,
quick- Real quick, I want to talk about Alan Tudyk, right?
who's this? Who's that?
That guy from, he's been in everything. Firefly. Have you ever watched Resident Alien? He does a lot of voice acting.
Alan
look-
Tudyk? His name is Alan Tudyk?
Tudyk.
Tudyk, okay.
If you look him up, you'll know.
I'm looking him up right now.
But so he has a secret role. Well, he had a secret role in the Superman movies.
Okay.
And he just came out with a new trailer which reviewed his role. He's playing like robot number 4. But so he's one of the robots that's in the Hall of Justice. That's in the that was not Supreme. What the hell is Superman's
Hall
cave called?
Hall
not
of
Hall of
Justice?
Justice.
No.
It's
Solitude? Fortress of Solitude?
Fortress of Solitude. Yeah.
Boom!
So-
That's a nerd thing I just said.
Yeah. So he's, one of the Guardians or whatever. So Crypto, I don't even see the trailer yet, but Superman's fucked up. And he whistles. And as a matter of fact, I think when we first saw Crypto, when they introduced us in the Superman trailer, we see the trailer where Superman's on the ground and he whistles for Crypto.
Okay,
And all you see is you start seeing the snow and Crypto's coming.
Yeah.
But I don't think you saw Superman as fucked up as he is. So this trailer, Superman's fucked up. And all Crypto wants to do is play. And it's awesome. Like animals are all lovable, right?
Yeah.
So like Crypto's jumping around, puzzling the back. It's like, he's like in a lot of pain. And all Crypto wants to do is jump around on his back or whatever. He has Crypto, he pulls his cape, has Crypto drag him home. So they go to the fortress. They walk in, Crypto barks, and the door opens. So they walk in, and 4 robots come. They're like, Superman. And so robot number 4 is Alan Tudyk. And so he goes like, thank you, blah, blah, blah. He's like, oh, you don't have to do that. We're robots, we don't have any feelings, blah, blah, blah. Immediately after he says that, this is robot number 12. She's new. Superman looked at her. Robot number 12 goes, he looked at me. Like, he literally just got finished and said, there's no reason to thank us. Robots have no feelings. And hands number 12, like, he looked at me. I thought that was funny.
Getting all
But
excited.
also the fact that Alan Tudyk is like everywhere, every time, anytime. He's literally a new age Nexus being. Or
So
Nexus
this,
being adjacent.
so
But,
this is all in a trailer, a new trailer for the Superman movie.
well, yeah, the new Superman trailer, yeah.
That whole thing you just described.
Yep. Up until, it's a little bit more because there's one part where they're shooting with rays from the sun and he's screaming. And then you see like a little bit more Lex Luthor, a little bit more of Green Lantern, a little bit more of I guess Superman goodness. But then also that made me think about how this year we're getting kind of sort of back to like a lot of nerdy type stuff coming out.
Like
Because like
Fantastic Four.
Fantastic Four, but like in a couple of weeks we have Thunderbolts, which they've been showing new stuff for Thunderbolts. And then I think after that we get Fantastic Four.
Are they still
Uh
doing a Young
no,
Avengers movie?
I don't know when that's coming. I'm lying. Superman comes out in the same month. I think Superman is next. Is it next month or is it July? But
All right, some technical difficulty here. Okay, here we go.
technical difficulties.
Yeah,
But
sorry.
but I do know that in the next 3 months or so, we're just going to get bombarded with uh nerdy goodness.
Nerd
So
shit.
right, so it's like a reawakening.
Well, this is April 7th. This is 4/7. We're recording this. Uh, oh, okay. That's how we are. This is April 7th. We're recording this. Before you know it, it's going to be June, and there'll be Heroes Con coming up, and we got to figure out what we're doing there.
Well, definitely for sure. Where I feel like one of the things from last year we should definitely do. Like I already mentioned to TBJ, we should probably start pushing for the surveys and stuff now.
Oh yeah, get
That
all
way,
that stuff
we have
ready.
yeah,
All the prep.
right. So that way we have, and we also got some other little secret things in the works that we're thinking about doing.
Do we
But
do we
supposed,
even know that we'll be asked back?
well, I did the assumption. They say that would be some shit, right?
Yeah.
I guess you'd have to check with Ed though.
So you mentioned Alan Tudyk being a Nexus being
Uh-huh.
similar to that of Deborah Jo Rupp.
I don't think this was powerful. He's like a mid-level next to the man.
So those of you who are our listeners, regular Nerd School listeners, and you don't know about what we've hinted at about the Deborah Jo Rupp-verse, I feel like it was kind of born out of this podcast. I'm sure we mentioned her being in the WandaVision show and being a background character. And she's the same actress who played Kitty Foreman in the 70s show. And if you look her up on IMDb, she's been in a shit ton of stuff starting in the 80s. And we decided to get our friend Gruff from the Gruff and Loud show with me and Art and start a new thing called the Deborah Jo Rupp-verse, where we're connecting every character Deborah Jo Rupp has played to try to find out if the theory that Deborah Jo Rupp is a Nexus being, and there's a whole universe where every character she played is one immortal being, and how that might work. And while we go, we get into depth on all the shows she's done. So we take a deep dive into Spencer for Hire and The Equalizer from the 80s and Kate and Alley and soap operas. And you can check that out on our YouTube channel or check it out from historyforjerks.com. Right, Art?
Oh yeah.
I was checking
I
to see if you're
think
still there.
I think it's going to continue on.
Yeah, I was just waiting.
I was a part of the commercial. I was
Yeah.
waiting for
I was just to let people know. Check in on that. That's great. Most people I've been mentioning that to are like, who the hell's Deborah Jo Rupp? Like, what? Are you fucking kidding me? How do you not know? But so there's that.
Well, it was funny because I remember watching the latest episode. What's the latest episode? Where I
Yeah,
dropped the Mary Jo Rupp,
yeah. Where you
which
accidentally,
then had
yeah,
one of friend of the show talking about it. It's the point where he called her Mary Jo Rupp.
yes,
So it's one of
yeah,
those things where like people. It's even though it was a mislip, but the
yep,
fact that he noticed the mislip because he watched it, but then to have someone kind of denigrate him because he misslipped it. Ah,
yeah. He called
ah.
her Mary Jo Rupp. Yeah. So, but it's all about getting her name out there. But I wanted Art to jump on this nerdy 30 while we wait to get together to talk about. We're going to be talking about Ms. Marvel very soon. We just rewatched that, and I got a lot of stuff to talk about with that and unpack. But I just decided every time I get on Disney Plus, it advertises to me this new Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man, this new Spider-Man animated series. And I've never been a big animated series guy. Like I didn't watch the X-Men back in the 90s when everybody else was watching the X-Men. I watched it during the pandemic and like got into it because I knew there was a new one coming. Watched the new one like that. But I never watched like the Batman the animated series everybody went nuts for in college and like the Spider-Man animated one from the 90s. There's a lot of these animated series that are all nerds got into. And I just kind of was like, I don't know. Is it for is it like is it going to be like Spider-Man and Firestar and Iceman like the back in the day when that was kind of like cheesy? So I never did. And then something made me just say, you know what? I'm just going to turn this on, this Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man. The ad keeps showing up there. Let me see if the animation is cool, like in What If, which Art kind of said you got to watch What If, and that animation of What If is so fucking cool. And the new X-Men was that same. I don't know if it's the same kind of style or if that's
It,
just
it,
all
it's
modern
it's kind of a
animation.
little, kind of it's modernized. It has a little bit. It borrows a little from that.
Would you
Whereas
say
like
these kind of styles are similar to anime or are they anime adjacent?
they're I want to say they're anime adjacent. They're more or less uh kind of sort of paying an homage because like a lot of the people who are doing the animation for these shows now, they're big anime fans. But then also like some of them also are trying to give you the newer pop off the page comic book style as well. So they
Uh,
are incorporating that into the animation. Where like even this new Spider-Man thing, it kind of gives you the way that they promo it. It's like the old what's that little kid's book, Roderick's Day Off or whatever. But it gives you that whole it- like childlike animation, but not childlike animation. But then also you get kind of sort of a mixture of like old school newsprint comics or newsprint, like some funny papers as my dad would call them,
yeah.
funny paper comic strips kind of vibe from this new Spider-Man show.
Yeah, so this new so as I was gonna say, like when I started watching it, I was like, oh, let's just see. And this is different than the other ones that are really cool
Uh,
animation. But just like you said, it feels like you're read. It feels like a comic book came to life. And that's what I kind of felt like What If was, but this is more so than even What If was. Like What If's
right.
drawn that way, but this,
Well, you also got to realize,
yeah,
like, there are many comic styles, right?
yeah,
So you have some where it's like everything looks realistic. You have some where it's stylistic. You have some where you have uh, certain comic creators who only draw certain things a certain way, and people like Ando don't like them. But it's
yeah.
like it's one of those things where it's like it's their style,
Rob
so everything
Liefeld.
that they do is going to look like the same person with a
Yeah.
different outfit on,
God.
and that's okay.
Yeah, that's
But
that
it's
style.
like, yeah. So you have like certain anime, certain animations, certain cartoons. They have like a certain style, but it's also based upon like Todd McFarlane. Like his style is real gritty and grimy.
Uh-huh.
When you also have Batman animated series, it's gritty and grimy, but it is still, everyone has exaggerated chest areas and smaller bodies.
Yeah, so I didn't
So,
like that Batman,
but
that
it still
style.
has like that grit grime to it because Batman. He's in the shadows.
Yeah, Batman's got to be
Um,
grimy
and
like that.
it's quite dark. It's quite dark to be quote unquote a kid show,
Yeah,
which is one of the reasons people really liked it.
that's why
So
kids, '90s kids like that, right? Like
what?
us as teenagers or whatever. But yeah, and I will say, like Gruff from the Gruff and Loud show, when we talked about the style, the animation style of Cal Arts. Like
Uh,
I never really paid that much attention to
uh,
cartoons and different
uh,
styles, and I guess I was aware that they were different, but I didn't realize that you could put a finger on. Oh, people have said like Powder Puff Girls, that kind of style, that the way that was done is a unique style attributed to Cal Arts. Like people from Cal Arts did those kind of style,
uh-huh.
and Steve recognized that right away as I was describing what Cal Arts is. We were only talking about Cal Arts because we were talking about Ron Perlman, because Ron Perlman's son went to Cal Arts. We were just
Mhm.
talking about for no reason,
I
but I
remember that
learned something.
episode.
That's why I love taking deep dives into Wikipedia, because you learn so many things. So that said, yeah,
But
and I'm learning a
and,
lot from you guys with the
also, you have to
snap,
realize as well,
all these styles.
like that's like a Cal Arts. That's like a movement. So you have like this animation is like based on a Cal Arts movement. So it's going to be a lot of different arts that look kind of like that. So
Hmm.
like if you have like a painting, or you have like when the Impressionists created paintings, like okay, this was an impressionistic movement, or this is an
Yeah,
abstract movement. So like a lot of things resemble that, but it's because it's doing that movement.
yeah, and you know
Uh,
all that from art history class, right?
right,
Like you,
right.
like not class. Class is school, like a whole art school. And yeah, I feel like I don't know. I took a couple art, with theater. There were some adjacent like theater type. We took something called period, style, and form, where we had to kind of look at the art of different forms and periods and styles and all that, with as it relates to theater. But adjacent to that was visual arts, and so we
Right.
had to cover that as well. Uh, and I felt like I don't want to learn about it. It makes it like not fun anymore when I'm just having to learn about it. But in hindsight, when I look back, I really learned a lot. Like they made us create
Right.
a piece, whether it was a sculpture, a painting, or whatever, in a style, and I had a lot of fun doing that.
But
I don't
it's
think I
also got
retained anything.
a lot of things like you have, let's say, Dada, which is another movement where you had like
Dadaism, right?
yeah,
Absurdism.
so
Yeah,
you had beat writers, you also had musicians, you had artists. So it was one of those things where everyone and everything could be a part of the movement when it comes to the arts,
yep,
whether we're speaking, written, visual, uh, sung. So it's like played. So, but you're still a part of that movement. It just so happens that your movement encompasses all the arts, not
yeah,
just
yeah,
you know.
yep. Anyway, that said, this show grabbed me right away with the way because you feel like you're looking at a comic book,
Uh-huh.
or like characters are popping out of a comic book, um, in a really cool way, but not like in a dumb, like I could guess somebody would hear me describe that and think, oh, it's just a comic book with just the mouth moving, like the old Marvel comics, like the old
Right.
Captain America was. It was like it was really a comic book with just the lips moving. The old He-Man was kind of like that, but it's not like that. But it like pops out of the page type of thing. So it's like the 3D movements are it's just really cool. It's really well done, really neat. Um, in fact, I kind of want to look up, like, is there a name for this kind of, I got the Wikipedia page here. And then the other thing about it is it's a different Peter Parker story. Like
Yeah.
it's, it's, it's a Peter Parker origin story. And we have a an Aunt May who's kind of like more towards like what's her name in the MCU?
Marissa Tomei.
Marissa Tomei rather than an old lady. So it's got that part kind of the
And
same, but
how
it's
far have you gotten into it?
I'm halfway through the second episode only, so
Okay,
I'm not
so you
far.
haven't
But I saw
you
Norman
haven't
Osborn.
you
Uh,
haven't seen the Dr. Carnage yet?
no, not yet.
Okay,
No, I haven't got that
wait
far
till you
yet.
see Doc. You know who Dr. Carnage is?
Yeah, he was Lizard, right?
Right. Okay. Wait till you see Dr. Carnage.
Okay, it's gonna be great.
It's going to be mind blowing. But
Oh, I can't wait then. So,
I think I'm
but
only
I
an
was thinking like
episode.
just his love interest. Well, right away in the first episode, his best friend is Nico. What's her name?
Winora.
Menorah,
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
Not Menorah, whatever it is. Who is that? I only knew her from Snap. I didn't know who that was. Like, oh my god, that's a character from Snap. I've never heard that, seen
And
her
she's also
anywhere.
a part of Runaways.
What's Runaways?
Runaways is like a group of teens
Okay,
whose parents are like villains. It's a really, you probably don't still have it, but like on that one site that you know,
yeah.
there's a comic series for like the Runaways. They're actually about to do I think about to have a new series. But and that's the weird thing because we talked about the Darkhold and Doctor Strange. The Darkhold is also in Runaways, the TV series.
Okay.
So which is also I don't know if it's on I don't know if it's on DC Plus, not
Wait,
Disney Plus.
was the Runaways TV series animated?
No, it's actually live action.
Oh, live action.
Yeah. And I feel like Nico towards the end, she gets the staff that has her creating things. But so like yeah,
Oh.
like when I seen that Nico was gonna be his best friend, I was like, huh, that's kind of interesting, you know?
So
But
so you knew Nico from the Runaways, but
yeah,
that she's never interacted with Peter Parker as far as you know in comics
I can't recall.
that you know of.
She might, yeah. I mean, cause I think she has, but in this sense, like them being in school together,
Yeah. So do you think this will introduce some of the other Runaways in this?
I don't know. I haven't finished, but
Okay.
I think I've got to the point where they've introduced another villain. So like, just looking at his like rogues gallery and just like what they do with each character
Uh-huh.
is is kind of cool. Not to mention, you have, of course, the people. Oh, you have the Black Osborne, so
Yeah, yeah.
that's an issue.
So is Harry in it too? So,
Oh, you haven't seen her yet?
I don't
You
think
go
so.
to the second. Yeah, Harry's
Yeah.
in it.
Yeah, I think I
Harry's
just
in
saw
it.
Norman like he meets Norman at the end of the first one, and then he's like I left off like right where the second episode he's going to his internship and he's like going into the office, and then I think that's where I left off. So um but this isn't like an official episode to talk about. I'm sure we'll end up talking about it later, but I just kind of wanted to bring it up as a nerdy 30 since Art and I are getting ready to record because TBJ's busy, Andy's busy, and we got to record something. So let's talk about some nerd stuff. Yeah. So the Runaways, that's a cool one. So I didn't know that existed. If we
Yeah.
hadn't had this conversation, I wouldn't know that. So that's a Hulu series, it looks like.
Mhm.
So which I guess is on Disney Plus now, probably. But yeah,
And they
I wanted
casted it
to.
right and like in one of its like kind of climactic moments.
Yeah.
They canceled it. It's
Oh,
one
they
of those things.
did.
Yeah, like Hulu at this time. Hulu was introducing like they had another show called it's another Marvel show. Oh man, it's called Hellstrom. So Hellstrom is like Damon and is her name Lillian or Lilia? But they're like I guess uh siblings. But I want to say their dad's the devil.
Yeesh.
I think maybe. I always forget that story. But that was a Marvel series. Kind of good. They canceled after one season. Um, uh, what's the monkey? Hit Monkey.
Oh, Hit Monkey. Was that
Hit
canceled
Monkey.
already?
They canceled it when they brought it back.
That
They're
was a
like,
cartoon, right?
yeah. But so that has like that has some Marvel characters in it as well that pop up that you, I
Okay.
guess, probably wouldn't expect it, but then you can see why. But it was like it's been a lot of shows recently that's been giving us Marvel stuff. Like especially if you're a Snap fan
Yeah,
and you don't know anything other than the fact you play Snap, but you're
that's me.
watching these shows, you're
Yeah.
like, oh, I know that person. I got that person to Snap. I picked this person up in Snap.
Yeah. There'll be times I'll play Snap and I'll just be like, oh, I'm going to go through and look up who all these. Like, I've never heard of this character. I don't
Like,
know what they do.
Have you finished?
Armor.
You ever watched season 3 or season 2? What if, right?
I am halfway through season. Did I get to season 2? I just decided before I watch season 2, I'm going to just rewatch all of season 1. So I
So
think
you haven't seen. I don't reason I asked because you're a Snapper,
yeah.
and that's like so. Right now, the season pass is dealing with what if, which is it's weird that it's what if.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
you would think that like it would be going on when there's a what if.
Yeah.
Like I guess because they did their Thunderbolts too early or something, and I guess they're prepping us for some fancy. I don't know what's going on. Anywho, uh, you have like the Ultron, Infinity Ultron, or Ultron Infinity, whatever. It looks like the Hydra Stomper,
Yeah.
Captain Carter, but like you get to see more of them in these later series. Whereas I guess at the end of season 1, you see where Steve Rogers become the Hydra Stomper, but you
Yep.
don't like
Yep.
so
As the little guy because he didn't get the serum, right? He's inside
right.
the yeah. I did see that.
And then you get to see like the new Strange that they have, the Strange Supreme, which is the Strange that was in uh like you have the Strange Supreme and you have like I don't know if they have I think they have a Zombie Strange, but the Zombie Strange that was in uh
Multiverse of Madness.
Multiverse of Madness is
Yeah.
from What If.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. They
Uh,
did kind of bring it back. What I like Doctor Strange in this Spider-Man, the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man show, was a different Doctor Strange. Although it seemed like it might have had the same voice.
I don't
Uh,
think it was a different voice. It wasn't a different voice.
you don't think it was that voice?
I don't think it was. It
Humberbatch.
wasn't Cumberbatch.
Cumbersnatch. I mean, it wasn't him, but he sounded similar to him. But it's clearly a different Strange because he's not drawn to look like
Right.
Lumberback Stumberbutch.
And then there's the whole like, wait, there's a such and such in this universe kind of thing. So it's like it's I love the build up and like what's going to happen with that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so I guess we're assuming this Spider-Man is a whole different Earth.
it's not an MCU from what I understand.
Yeah,
This does not belong in the MCU. But
yeah, gotcha. So
again, they've always said certain things. Like recently, they were saying they don't know when the new Into the Spider Verse or whatever the Spider Verse movie was going to come out. They don't have a date for it. The other day they announced it's 2027 or something.
yeah.
Like, hey, come on, just stop talking.
Well, that's what I was going to ask you about this Spider-Man
Uh,
is that his love interest isn't Mary Jane. He has a crush on, I think her name's Pearl. Is it Pearl? What's the girl's name? I'm looking it up on here, but I don't see her.
I forget.
Oh,
And
Daredevil's going to be in this?
Nico has Nico has it for him. Just one of those. He's my
Yes.
best friend, but he's not. Well, I wish it was more kind of vibes I can get from that.
Okay, so spoiler alert. I'm just looking on the Wikipedia page, and apparently
Yeah.
Charlie Cox does the voice of Daredevil on this one.
Okay.
So that kind of like gives it a whole nother. Is it really the same or is it not?
Have you watched the new Daredevil? Or you
So
on Andy
I
Cool?
started watching the first episode, and then one of you guys said that it's not necessarily a different timeline. Like it's still like there's no reason it couldn't still be the same
It is,
timeline
what
as
I
the other
understand.
one.
But I even seen something recently where I guess Vincent D'Onofrio was saying something about how the Kingpin can't be in like an MCU movie or other show other than Daredevil or something.
Did he say why? I saw that headline, but I didn't
I don't
read
know.
it.
I didn't even read it. 'Cause, like a lot of times, like it's like you sit there, you read things like Spider-Man. Spider-Man is always ever ongoing in the MCU just because of the Sony thing, right? Just like the X-Men, ever ongoing because of the Fox thing. So you listen to what they say, and
Yeah.
it's like you're watching a show or a movie, and they'll make mention, so you know what's going on. But then you be like, but are they ever going to get back to it? Like and I think we've discussed this, but I think how we came about it was like they was talking about something else. But like when what's the name says, uh, we know about what's going on under Atlantis, blah blah blah. We'll handle it when we handle it, kind of yada yada yada, alluding to the fact that like they knew about Namor.
Yeah.
But then you get the movie, they didn't know nothing about Namor. So it's like
Which I still haven't seen Namor. What movie does he show up in?
that's the one you'll see him not this movie, next movie, but
Is
the
it
next
Wakanda Forever?
Wakanda Forever.
Okay,
Yeah.
that's what I thought. So, okay, so I kind of pulled it up, an article on tvline.com. Apparently, an interview with Vincent D'Onofrio, he revealed that apparently it's some kind of complicated rights issues to the character. So,
Okay.
Vincent D'Onofrio, nor anybody else, nobody can play Kingpin in a feature film the way the rights are. So I was going to look it up. Is it because of some contract Vincent D'Onofrio has that he put that in there? But no, it seems to be some sort of copyright with the character.
Yeah.
And I don't know if it goes into any. He says the only thing I know is not positive. He said when they asked him if he's going to be in a movie, he said specifically right now I'm only usable for television series. Not even a one-off Fisk movie would be possible. It's all caught up in rights and stuff. So he didn't really go into details, I don't think. But yeah, he didn't think it can ever work out. But I don't know. Who knows what that could be? A lot of this stuff gets so complicated. But I think,
Complicated.
yeah,
Like they switched around
yeah.
2 years from now.
I think
Something's gonna happen.
part of my favorite thing and why I'm kind of watching this Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man is like when these other characters pop up. I'm like, oh, yes, and that's what I like about watching some of the old Spider-Man. It's the old Batman. It's like, oh, these characters that I only know from either Snap or you guys mentioning half-ass or secondary characters in the MCU are also portrayed in these cartoons from 1993, or something. It's fun to see these characters pop up, and then I start feeling like a true nerd who gets excited about seeing his, characters they know in other iterations, I guess. That's kind of a cool nerdy thing. But that's been 30 minutes probably.
About the president no more, but evidently they don't see we in the streets still poor, still more incarceration of my kinsmen by the prisons, and people thinking this election to end it race.
The Nerd School podcast is a product of History for Jerks and a member of the Queen City Podcast Network. Find out more about History for Jerks at historyforjerks.com.